the biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
I heard it said before that we work on our dreams so we can thrive. If not, we'll work on someone else's and then we'll die. So let me introduce myself to you. I am Wanda D. Hollis. Now the D is for Denise, a name given to me by my grandmother. And Wanda was given to me by my great-grandmother. So there you have it, Wanda Denise Hollis. Now some call me Wanda D and my close friends and family call me WD. But either way, I'm just passing through. You see, I came by to inspire you to live beyond your dreams, to go past the clouds and travel on Mars if that's what you so desire to do. Let me assure you that I truly believe in you. Your visions and hopes are seeds planted in you, put there for a reason, perfectly designed for you. I believe that the universe is simply waiting on you. Let me ask you a question. What are your desires? What is that thing? You know, that thing that burns inside of you. That thing that nags you. What is that dream that used to ride with you? I am here to tell you. I am here to encourage you. I am here to let you know that it's not too late to take that dream off the shelf and give birth and let it kiss the earth and then spread it as though it was a dessert. I am enough. I am enough, and yes, you are enough. You, and you too are enough. Now live, knowing and believing that there is nothing, absolutely nothing you can't do. Why? Because together, we are more than enough. Hey, it's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, and I'm inside of the Instinct Radio studio right here on MLK. Now, y'all know this. Y'all can still get here if y'all want to before security get real tight up in here. All you got to do is just text us so we can let you in. It's a lot of security codes that you got to go through. But we want you because we need you and we miss you. Are y'all ready for today's show? Whew, I can't even talk right now. Come on, where they showing out already, y'all. They showing out already because you know what? We left. It was a cliffhanger last 2 weeks ago. We left them on a cliffhanger, right? Yeah, we left them on a cliffhanger. So the same power couple is back in here today. We got Reverend Sean Wells, you know, he doing big things. Him and his wife, Chrysalis, they have this online school that's about to open here. When is it? Next week? Is it next week? April 24th will be the official launch of the new school, Metaphysics School. And guys, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about tapping and how we can fully tap into our secret powers. Now, I got to let these glasses come up off my face. I can't see with them on. I can't see with them off. I'm in a bad way. And guess what I got, y'all? It's official. Do y'all see this press pass here? What do this press pass say? What do they say? What?
Instinct Radio.
Press pass, right?
Yeah.
I see your name on it.
Hello. You know, this is serious. I don't know. Some of you might have forgotten that this was voted the #1 radio station in the ATL. So I just want to remind y'all of that. Okay? We don't play any games around here. Instinct Radio is more than radio. In the I Am Enough talk show with me is where your dreams matter because we up in here making it happen. And if y'all smart, y'all will get here. Tune in. Y'all on Facebook? Tune in. I'm going to pull up my Facebook crew. I know some people on Facebook. Who on Facebook?
Somebody tell me who on Facebook. We gonna shout out y'all on Facebook again. If you have any questions, this couple is gonna come back. They're gonna introduce themselves. Our intro is gonna be real light, because if y'all don't know who they are, I'm sorry. Y'all just gonna have to figure it out, find out about them. Check them out. They are on everywhere. She owns all of the YouTube that you can find. She's on there. She be doing nighttime stuff, sitting with her legs crossed, talking to people. I was like watching you one day. I was like, that Chrysalis, go ahead, girl, go ahead. And she just be kumbaya and just be like, she'd be like, okay, well, y'all, I got to go because I'm about to go. That's all she say. I'm about to go. So y'all can check them out. They're on Instinct. I mean, well, they're gonna be on Instinct Radio soon. I guess I'm dropping that in the space. They're gonna be right here net on Instinct Radio. So where they are now, they're on Instagram, and they're on YouTube, Facebook, probably Twitter, and everything else, you name it. Just like the lady that sing the pie. Do she sing the pie? Or she don't sing the pie? Shirley Caesar, what she be talking about? You name it. I don't know. Y'all know I be all over the place. Anyway, we just come here to have a good time. I'm gonna give y'all a quick update, because I haven't had anything. I had a lot of rest. I might have had too much rest. That might be my problem. Had a little bit too much rest. I slept in today. So quick. That's what's going on. So quick recap on from last week to now. So guys, we're doing this Wake Up Winning book collaboration. I just had a text from somebody that say, is it too late to get in? And I said, well, you know what? You better come on in. We're holding about 4 spots. So for those of you that say, hey, I want to do this, but you haven't dropped that deposit, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta make a commitment. I know this. What I know about life is, if you're willing to put something in, life is willing to give you something back. But the problem with a lot of us is we just want to be these takers, and we don't want to pay no dues. We don't want to drop nothing in. I'm sorry. You know me. I'm going to talk about it. Plus, I got my magic wand, so I feel very, very empowered to say anything on my mind right now. So I just want to encourage everybody, if you want to get in on the project, it's going to be phenomenal. Now, all jokes aside, I'm surrounding myself with just some incredible individuals that has a story and that's willing to tell it, in hopes that it's going to save and impact somebody else's life. And in my opinion, it's no greater joy than being able to lift somebody else up. Can I get an amen? Can the church say amen? Amen. Ashe, right. Power to you. All right. So anyway, we want to be very, very intentional about this thing. And, we do Wake Up Winning to identify with our light shining bright and always shining bright, and then our light going into dark places that help them shine bright. Because, the story goes, if, it just takes a speckle of light to bring out the darkness out of anybody. So we're willing to do that, and I hope that you all are, if you're serious about getting on the project, to come on and get it on. We have our final broadcast, which is Tuesday, but I've just been really anticipating that come Tuesday, that broadcast probably will get canceled, be that we've already taken up all of the slots have already been filled. But that's the game plan. So if you do want to participate and come to the live broadcast on Tuesday, you must register. You must go to www.bookcollabwiththewandadhollis.com. They laughing at me because they know I'll forget anything. But when my fingers is moving, that helps me remember. It's like when you go dot, 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 then you can keep up with your train of thought. I don't know if y'all know that, but that's the truth. So, and in the meantime, if y'all interested in purchasing this book, this beautiful book here, you can get this online on Amazon, only $15. It'll change your life, and I guarantee you really will enjoy taking a read to that. The CD that's with it is amazing. You heard some of that on the intro. That was part of that I Am Enough. Actually, that's the title poem. And you know, it's just a great thing. I just love to share. So yes, thank you, Net. So also, t-shirts are for sale. Glitter ones $30. The regular vinyl 25 and up. And what else? We got ink pens, we got fragrances, we got a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm not here to do an info commercial because I got to bring my guest on. We're gonna take a quick pause for the cause. Only about what we doing that one song, one track, and then we're gonna kick this thing off. You guys, please tell your people to call in. You can call in to now here's these glasses again. 478-569-6474. Call in with questions. Also like and share the video on Facebook and invite your people to watch. We'll be right back.
Live and learn. Young and dumb, or older and hopeful. The stages are unique, yet similar. Life. We all travel our own path, journey into what we would like to believe is prosperity, facing challenges and in search for victory. But how do we rest? Rest into the knowing that life is purposeful from the moment of conception. Beliefs mostly passed down from generation to generation. Young and dumb, or older and hopeful. Somehow experiences don't always make it easy and less painful. As my mind closes the door to yet another relationship, I drift into my own love chronicles. You know, the kind that starts out hot and steamy, bodies melt like butter, conversations seemingly have an unsurmountable connection. Then somewhere between kisses and back rubs and orgasms, fallouts happen and everything gets questioned. Does he love me? Do I love him? Why did I do this? Why did he do that? Hang-ups and breakups. How do you spell relief? How do you say another one bites the dust? Love just doesn't seem to last for me. But throughout all the fallouts comes victory. The victory of understanding myself just a little bit more. I'm learning my levels of tolerance, flexibility, and endurance. My levels of saying enough is enough and too much is way too much. I can make it without you and you can make it without me. Now what? Picking myself up, dusting myself off, young and dumb, or older and hopeful. You see, it's really all the same. We are trying to outlive the generational curse, passed down and picked up unknowingly. So, to those still listening, let's journey into our own fantasy of, well, you decide. Remembering the curse has been broken, we no longer have to live in the shadows of what our parents did. Let's live, and live, believing that there is so much to give, and love throughout all that's said and done, whether young and dumb or older and hopeful. Stick around, 'cause surely the best is yet to come. Young and dumb or older and hopeful. Live and learn, because surely the best is yet to come.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Hey guys, we're back inside of Instinct Radio Studio. I am Wanda D, your host, and this is the I Am Enough Talk Show. And as you can see, I have one of my favorite couples back inside the studio. Yes. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, we are back.
Yes.
We are back. I'm excited.
I know. I could tell. We're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves right quick. And Chrysalis, I'm gonna start with you, ladies first.
Okay, yes,
Queen's rule.
I'm Chrysalis Sun. I'm an Oracle, Reiki practitioner, holistic health practitioner. It's my quick introduction.
Oh wow, that's okay. You've been
That's
working
probably
on
why
that.
she started with me first.
Okay. So,
Follow example.
Reverend.
This is my family, y'all. Don't mind me.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Reverend Sean Wells Goldman, shaman, healing minister, astrology minister, teacher, quantum healer. Holistic healer. That's the short version. A lot I could say.
All right, and we're gonna get into all of that. And y'all know they were here last 2 weeks ago, first Sunday, and they're funny. So we're just not gonna let them have their way. But anyway, we probably can't stop them. So we were here last Sunday, and we just dove in deep about this whole thing, what people are trying to understand, what people are trying to make clear, and we pretty much got kind of. We didn't get past the chakras really because we had to go through all of the chakras, and that pretty much took up our whole entire 2 hours. So we didn't talk about crystals, sound therapy, astrology, where we are with the energy. So we wanna just pick back up that conversation, and I'm glad I had to rotate some people around just because I wanted it to flow from where we just left off at to where we can be at now.
Okay.
And so we left off with the crown chakra, and then we were getting ready to go into where we are now within this season. So you want to start us off there?
Yeah, actually, I think it would be fitting because crystals is definitely something we want to fit in, but the crown chakra itself, I think, brings up the crystals as an idea really well because one way of saying it is the crystal or Christ consciousness. That's the focus of the crown chakra. So we talk about crystal children. These are the beings that are coming in already having this Christ consciousness. So that's why we seeing so many things like we term them ADD and ADHD and bipolar and schizophrenia, all this stuff that's really just a misunderstanding of what's going on in the pineal gland when the pineal gland is having issues, and the brow chakra, and also the crown chakra. But the crown chakra brings up the point that we are crystals ourselves, and the idea of moving this energy of life force through our chakras in this like evolutionary journey, if you will. Once you strengthen all of them and they're all aligned, now you have basically tapped into what we call crystalline energy or whole energy, which I think she can kind of better explain that. But that's how going from the chakras to crystals, I think that's fitting.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Can my audience hear what we're saying? Cause okay. So I just want to make sure that you're being heard.
Gotcha.
I know that they can hear you on the broadcast because Net picks it up, but I just want to make sure the studio can hear it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, Queen.
That is a perfect segue into the crystals because technically what a crystal is it is a mineral that has symmetry. Or a crystal pattern or symmetry. So when we talk about humans being crystalline beings, we have symmetry in our structure, our bones, our muscles, everything. So that is what allows us to sync with crystals in a way that we can mimic the healing properties of crystals. We can absorb the healing properties of crystals, and we can also be we can heal as well, like others. We can raise our frequency in a way where we can heal ourselves and the people around us the same way that crystals do. So that's where we're in the energy we're in right now.
Right. right. And was it 2 weeks ago, where we were talking about the evolution of consciousness, the Great Awakening, the speed up, things happening. So, yeah, I guess we got to talk about this. We're coming up on a Uranus transit. So by transit, what I mean is, for those of us that are new to astrology, transit is any time where a planet changes signs. So if we look outside and we look at the sky as like half of the space around Earth, and that's like half the zodiac, and really the zodiac goes all the way around, and we see like where the planets are, what signs that they're in. Every time a planet changes sign, there's a huge shift that happens. But this time we're talking about, because we have a lot of transits this year with different planets, but Uranus moves really, really slow, relatively speaking, and it only changes signs like every 8 or so years. So we're coming up on May 15th, we're coming up on another Uranus transit. So the past like 8 years or so, a lot of the Uranus energy has been associated with Mars and Aries because it's in the sign of Aries. So that's war, fighting, division, conflict, all this kind of stuff has just been pumping so hard.
And this was like for the last 8 years?
About 8 years or so. Okay. Right, and we're coming up on the end, which means it's heightening up because now we're about to go into something completely new. So anybody that's been trying to, put out all these distractions like through the media or grab our focus so they can point our focus in the direction they want it to go to feed what their agenda is with the shift coming, we have to be able to be very clear about where we want to put our focus all the way up to this transit that's coming, because this is like final exam time. So this is the time where we got to make sure, okay, one, we want to understand what Uranus means. What's the Uranus energy all about? So we can get into that. But then also the difference between Aries energy and Taurus energy, because that's where Uranus is headed to.
To Taurus?
Headed into Taurus on May 15th, 2018.
Well, that don't sound good because my dad is a Taurus. And
well, when you, right, I was gonna make a joke about that when you think about your Taurus friends versus your Aries friends, which people.
I've had to reach out to some Taurus friends. I'm like, hey, come to class.
But no, when you think about just the energy, and so Aries is war. Competition, aggression, and ruled by Mars, and then you've got Taurus, which is money, values, possessions, ruled by Venus. So even though it's like we joke about our differences between our Aries and our Taurus friends, when you think about the overall energy, and then Uranus is sudden and unexpected change. So when you have to pick between the two, if you want something to just suddenly change, you kind of want it to be more so in possessions and values than you do with war and aggression. So
especially on this planet right now.
Right.
Okay. Wow.
But then that also means we're looking at global financial upheaval coming up right now.
So that's how you're getting into people like getting into more the cryptocurrency and, our resources. There's been articles I've been seeing about, certain grocery stores being out of food, or a lot of our retail stores are closing down. People are shifting only specifically to online, buying things online. Like there's all of that. People's values are shifting. We're getting more and more, because I do readings. I do tarot readings, and I'm getting more, Christians coming to me for tarot readings, like people who I know 5 years ago would never even call me for something like that, and I'm talking like, singing in the choir, leading prayer group, Christian, older elders.
Right.
Coming to me. So there's
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's an aspect of that. We're getting, Stilts has had. Can you hear me? Oh.
No, she's talking to me.
Oh, okay. Stilts has had quite a few elders come to him and just say that they're at a point in their life where they feel like everything that they've been taught has been a lie, and these are people that are preparing to become ancestors,
Right.
people 60s, 70s, 80s years old, and they're just like, I feel like, the church failed me. So they're having these drastic shifts in their consciousness and their belief system, and this is all related to the Uranus transit.
Wow. Wow. And let's talk about that. I grew up Baptist, and when I was in my early 20s, I started to go, into more church now, here and now, like earth, like not really. I just switched, But why is it that, or I guess this is really a deep discussion and probably we need to have, but I feel like people need to understand that you can have both. You can have your religion, whatever that is, and you still can be educated on the complete of, to complete everything, which is our connection to the universe. Because we were designed to be guided by the stars and this pattern that we have, and it would just help us be more advanced. And I think that a lot of times the trickery of I use the term behind the veil. Like, I want to go behind the veil because we do things out of this mandatory, because ancestral or generational, dealings of, okay, well, my mom was this way, so I need to be this way. This is a church that I need to go to. And I don't knock any of that, because I don't want to judge a person. To me, I want to just, my religion is love. Okay. And my church is the universe. That's
Right.
it for me.
I love it.
So
Right.
I
I
don't
love
want to
it.
get into, so I'm not going to exclude anyone. And I think in churches, the danger of that is they exclude things. Like, people tell me, well, the church told me to don't believe in that, or it's a sin to meditate, or it's a sin to do yoga. And it's like, why would that be a sin? Because it's connecting you to yourself, bringing it back to you. Because when you go to church, to tell you to keep studying or go on to practice these things. So it's like it gets very contradictory. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people waking up saying, I think I may have been doing this all wrong. So what do you see when people come to you? Do they sometimes come with those battles of wanting to learn, but then still feel blocked and stuck?
Yeah, I mean, we had this elder that came was it the last couple weeks ago? So what's
within the last
happening?
month,
Yeah, what's happening is that when elders are awakening and then they're having that battle, it could lead to psychotic breaks.
Wow.
So that's honestly what we're seeing more of, and all the psychotic break is just not having the tools to manage this awakening. And unfortunately, in a lot of religious institutions, they're not providing those tools to handle that.
They're specifically hiding those tools
Well, yeah.
So that's deliberate.
purposefully.
It's
yes.
deliberate,
It
right.
is very deliberate. And
So-
been that way for thousands of years.
Right.
Most definitely.
Right. And so we're seeing more and more of that. And then an overall fear, which the fear is going to be there, because, when you're coming into a new path, it's unknown. So you're already going to be afraid of it.
Right.
And then if you don't have the tools, then there's that confusion. So, we're seeing a lot of that with these elders. And, we had one elder that she came to Sunday service. She had a really hard time. Me and her daughter had to kind of let her know it's okay. And, we had to talk her through that. And then she got...
It was with the meditation specifically, right?
Right.
Yeah.
She was afraid of the meditation, because she'd already had her psychotic breaks. So she asked to leave during the meditation. That was fine. We were okay with that. And then we had to talk her, for her, she was scared to come back for the talk. We finally got her in for the talk. And then she got everything she needed, but afterwards she was conflicted. So she admitted that she got everything, she got what she needed, but then one of her church friends came by, read a couple Bible verses to her, and then it put her back into this fear, And so when we see that, my whole thing is meeting people where they are, and because I don't want to I'm not going to tell someone, oh, you're religious,
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's,
That's not that's not up for us.
Yeah,
Right.
that's not, because at the end of the day, for me, whatever you practice, it should just make you a better person.
Exactly.
So if it doesn't make you a better person, then that means you're not practicing. You need something, it may not be for you, but I don't really care what you practice as long as it's making you a better person. So, in this case with her.
And you're not harming people.
And you're not harming people.
But then if you're not harming people, of course.
Right.
Well, not necessarily, because you might be harming people and just harming people less. You work that out, people. Work that part out, okay?
Right, but to keep it simple, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, in those types of situations, and it's a matter of just really overcoming what it is. I mean, allowing yourself to be deprogrammed. Like really just allowing yourself to unlearn everything that you've learned. And I know for me, when I made my transition out of Christianity, and I can't even really say I was ever really in Christianity, but when I was in that tradition, I decided to practice Buddhism, which I mentioned, the last show, and but I didn't get to talk about my challenge with it. I struggled with Buddhism for the first 2 or 3 years because it's so loose. Like there's no commandments, there's no book that you go by, you read with Buddhism. There's no commandments that you have to follow. Like Buddhism, you have precepts, but they're very vague. It's like, non-harming, refraining from taking intoxicants, refraining from sexual misconduct, but they leave it up to you to define.
And that's good.
Right. What is sexual misconduct? What is non-harming? What is, so it was my first road to sovereignty because it was my first time practicing something where I actually had to define my own moral code, and it really made me responsible. But I struggle with it. So, I get it for people who are in these very strict, rigid practices, and then now they're being forced into expanding and they don't even know where to start. But because they come from a practice that didn't even teach them, to rely on their own inner compass, they don't even know how to rely on their inner compass. They don't even know, they don't trust themselves. That's what's happening.
Wow. That's it. So what are some of the tools, like what are some of the ways that people could start just opening up to that process of learning? Because it's mostly learning that they have to surrender to, because when you think about it, you've learned something and you've studied this or you've acted this out. Now is you have to be open to receive some new information. I heard somebody say to me that I don't believe in astrology. I said, but astrology believes in you. Like you can't, there's no separation. I mean, you were born, we're unique. And I think it comes down to this. I think sometimes people try to put us in a box, and when you understand that you have your own unique identity, nobody is like you, nobody thinks like you, nobody looks like you, you have your own unique fingerprint, and that's right there, to me, that's enough reason to know that, hey, then what am I being limited to? And sometimes when you get into some of them situations, you are very limited. So what would you offer as a tool that they could help somebody that really wants to open up and start learning?
Okay, so for me first is going to the science, and which is really the basis of the school. Like the entire school was built off of this idea of, being not necessarily just catering to starseeds and indigos and all that kind of stuff we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago, but that was the inspiration for it. Because for me it was like, oh my God, like I'm Professor X and these are the mutants and they need me to build this school before it get too late and we don't know what to do out here. So the idea was sparked a long time ago, but it just grew and more and more and more over the years, and I was able to understand more and more what needed to be included. But the one thing that I see that helps people to actually fall into the practice fully of like doing these activities that immerse you into spirituality in a healthy way and more fully is the science is necessary. Because I'm not gonna do, somebody tell me to light this candle, make sure it's a yellow candle, and then put it on this table, and then come back in 7 days, and I'm supposed to have such and such and such and such. But they don't tell me why it's a yellow candle. They don't tell me what the fire is doing when I light it. They don't tell me why it's important to make sure I have, none of that's explained. It's just a whole bunch of surface
Action
level.
words.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Do this.
That sounds real magical, and it may be, you know what I mean? But if I don't understand why it's working scientifically, me personally, and I feel like a lot of other, the younger ones feel this way. It's like, you giving me a bunch of BS and you're not even breaking this down to me. I don't even have time to even listen to you no more.
Right.
Because it's crazy out here right now. So I need somebody that's going to answer my questions, break down the science, and explain to me how this is working. If you can't do that, then what reason do I have to partake in it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just breaking down the science, being able to really hold space for people, have them go through their processes while you're holding space, but then also be able to explain things scientifically. So I tell people to get into quantum physics, get into, the universal laws. Like we hear about the law of attraction all the time now, but there's tons of universal laws that we can get into to help make all of this stuff make sense that we're looking at. Not just necessarily I'm trying to manifest something. Why ain't this working? But what if I need to look at, gender energy? You know what I'm saying? That's a hot topic right now. There's a lot of bickering and fighting going on between men, women, lesbian, gay, like the whole issue with like people trying to like defend their right to be who they are and all this kind of stuff. It's trickling into so many different areas. But like there's a law of gender, you know what I'm saying? There's laws of vibration, law of resonance, law of cause and effect, all these different things, you know what I'm saying? So taking it to the top and understanding the basic cosmic principles that govern everything else. If we don't respect that, then we ain't gonna do nothing else but be running around here killing each other.
And you've mentioned this before. You said a lot of people know the truth and they know the science, but they're misusing it. They're using it wrong.
Yeah.
So, and I want to speak on it because it actually ties into what he was just speaking on. So the way universal laws were explained to me is that it's like, or any type of magic, which magic or manifestation, whatever you want to call it, it's all based on universal law. And that universal laws are always there. So how it was explained to me, it's like math, right? So if we're doing any type of math problem, math has specific formulas that you use to get whatever the answer is. I can use the formula and I can get my answer wrong. You can use the formula, get your answer right. And it's not that the formula is flawed. It's because I didn't understand how to do the math problem and you did. You know what I'm saying? And so universal laws, magic works the same way, and also going into people's integrity, because people's integrity have a lot to do with how much they understand these universal laws and how they work. You know? So, and I know you want to go in about
this is
because I can feel you.
It actually gets back into what we was talking about the last time we were on with you, when we was talking about that dance between the lower three chakras,
right?
And how rushing through that's what leads to what you're talking about, the abuse of power, because the power is on chakra 3. Your feelings, emotions, sexual energy, all that kind of stuff. Your magic, so to speak, as we call it, is level 2, right? So if you're coming out of level 2 and you're running away, if you're running away from level 2, it's like, okay, I got some stuff I ain't trying to feel, I got some stuff, I ain't trying to look at or whatever, but you also are getting all of this power because you're pulling that energy up past the things that you have to work through to get to the power center. You know what I'm saying? So you can still go up there, but you're not going up there with all the tools you need to manage that properly, and now you just out here abusing your power everywhere. So once again, it goes back to the science, because when people understand more about what the chakra system actually is and the different levels that you have to go up and why go slow and why just let it lift you up instead of just trying to pull yourself up and things like that, then the natural organic process of healthy evolution just occurs automatically. You know what I'm saying? And then if people know the science behind that, then one, they're empowered, you know what I'm saying? They understand what they're doing, they feel more comfortable with it, but also that level of relaxation of, centeredness and assurance, self-assurance, speeds up the process even more, and it's still healthy. You see what I mean?
I do, and I know exactly what you're saying, because I know I have to constantly, this walk is very intentional, to pay attention to what you're feeling and your emotions and how you're processing things, because you could be like, like that, and you'd be like, wait a minute, calm down. So even when I see myself, for instance, yesterday, I had quite a full schedule, and I was kind of like being a little slow about moving around, and then I looked at the clock. I was like, oh, okay, let me, but I still wanted to maintain that coolness, right? So let me tell you, so I was packing up the car, I was like, okay, all right. I was like, all right, time is good, I know I'm supposed to be there in about 30 minutes. I know I probably got a 45-minute drive. It's okay. I was like, we gonna rush it. Ain't gonna rush it. So, I just started, was like saying, okay, well, I'm bending time. I'm about to bend some time. And
this was yesterday.
This was yesterday.
Okay.
And I pulled up at my location at exactly the perfect time that I was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Walk through the door, and I know if I would have been like scrambling and just I would have wasted time just being anxious,
Right.
So I was
Right.
like, nah, I'm good. But I tell you, I was just like, I was just packing up and still left my table at home. But that's okay because another thing occurred, right? I left my one. I had an interview yesterday with Floyd Potts on his show. And so when I left there, I was headed to another place, and then I realized, my table ain't in the car. So I was like, okay, so I'm driving, and I say, well, Wanda, do you go 20 minutes past, and then you got to come back through the traffic, or do you just go and just let everything work itself out?
Yeah.
So I'm driving, and I'm still having this conversation with myself, right? So then I was like, Spirit, just lead the way. So I exit, and so that's my intentional acts. I have to just really stay in that place of just talking to like, Spirit, what should I do? And it's like exit, So I exit. I went there. So I called up Mr. Moore, and I said, well, Mr. Moore, I don't have a table. He was like, no problem. I got an extra table. And because originally he told me that he didn't have any extra tables and that I had to make sure I brought my table. So I was like, okay, but I was like, this is too much. I'm not getting ready to go back and get a table and come back. And, I was just like, so it just all, I think that the more I put intentions out, the more I'm like very, very deliberate and was really ready to do whatever was necessary. Like surrendering to if that's not going to happen, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to drive back through traffic because that's one thing. Hello,
Right.
I need a driver. Hello, I don't like driving. Hello, any drivers out there? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Because I do not like to drive. And then I had to drive. And I was
you in
driving
Atlanta
there.
too?
And you could drive on one side of the street and you clear, and then you look on the other side and it's a madhouse, and you like, I gotta come back through that. So that's all I could think about was I'm driving and I might have to no. So and everything worked out well.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yes.
That's what's up.
So just talking about how being anxious, when you like can rush, because I know we're in some funny, periods right now, and I do know sometimes I have these like onset emotions that come and hit me at any time, and I'll be like, where'd that coming from? And I have to just kind of talk myself off the ledge with it.
Yeah, and actually it's interesting too because that's magic. The magic is in the emotion. So as soon as we attach an emotion, because that's our strongest energy, our strongest. So you know how it feels when you are extremely angry. You know how it feels when you're in an extreme space of love or bliss or joy,
Right.
And then it radiates out. So when, that's how we create our magic, or we manifest, or we don't manifest, depending on the emotion. So if you ever really want to, like you said,
Y'all catch that?
Or don't.
or don't, right? So you were able to bend time because you remained relaxed. You had a very strong intention, and then you surrendered, like you said, and you didn't have any emotion attached to the outcome, and that outcome was allowed to happen. That's how you make magic. So something happens, okay, so for example, if you're afraid that, if you need new tires, and you know that your tire is about to go out, those tires are more likely to go out if you are in fear, constant fear of those tires going out. Rather than just relaxing and just kind of being open and then just knowing, okay, I have to drive 45 minutes to go to my tire place. I'm just going to get there. I'm going to be safe. And I'm going to be okay. And then you just release the fear and then you get there. And that's how you manifest that.
Right.
But it's very difficult because we can get wrapped up in our emotions and then we allow ourselves to be carried by them. So I know for me, whenever I'm in that space of like anxiousness or fear, the first thing I do is just stop, breathe, and just allow that energy to pass through me. Because I'm more likely to be able to channel and be intentional about what I want if I'm not all in this state of, like you said, worry or frenzy.
Yeah, because it's like I do this all the I guess because I've practiced it for so long. Sometimes I don't get it right. I always say I'm a work in progress, because even though we know how to do certain things, we don't always ride that course. But I do know that if I'm like misplace my keys or something, I'd be like, where are my keys at? I just like get real still. I don't like rush and start looking up, running upstairs, downstairs. Now I'm sweating and I'm like, let me just sit down and call these keys to me. Let me work on calling these keys. And and then I'll open my eyes up and they're the keys.
Like right in
right,
your face.
right on the steps. You're like, duh, But if I would have walked over them 10 times looking for them. So that's another thing. I mean, it's so important that we learn how to just maintain that balance of our setting our intention. So
Right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because my advice always with people is that my friends, all my friends who may be watching this, they'll laugh because they know. If you don't know what to do, the best thing is to do nothing. That's
right.
That's what
Everybody
I always say.
that. Everybody say that.
Just sit and then it'll come, like you said.
Yeah.
Just do nothing.
And it's you said that. I think I was on a Wake Up Winning call the other day, and somebody else, one of the co-authors, had said the same thing. Do nothing. When you really feel like you can't figure it out or whatever, that's where I always say, just go in the corner. Just go in the closet. Just close the door and just sit there. And let it come to you, because it will.
It will.
Yeah. It will come.
The more chaotic it is, the more clarity you have once you become still.
Wow. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Wow.
Because there's way more information to let you know what's really going on if you're not moving.
Wow.
Yeah. That just came through to apparently that needs to be said.
Just dropped it. Just dropped the bomb.
But also too, I wanted to add something to what Chris was saying, because this ties. You actually kind of just brought me back to that with what you just said. But her example of driving the car, getting to where you need to be on time, releasing it. So I want to make sure, because this gets back into the science. So when we say releasing it, like a lot of people say, release it. We hear that all the time. But there's still so much struggle that I see with that process, which is understandable, but we want to understand more what that actually means, because releasing it, like, okay, you're leaving the house. You feel like even if you sped up, went above the speed limit a bit, you still are looking at being, let's say, 30, 45 minutes behind schedule or late or whatever, right? And then you say to yourself, okay, everything's in divine order. I know I'm supposed to be. I'm releasing this. Can you please help me get there when I'm supposed to get there? Blah, blah, whatever, right? And then I say, right, release it. Releasing it means that you are allowing anything to happen between that moment and the moment that you get what you asked for. So if your tire do go flat,
you're so right.
Understand that that's part of what you asked for, and it may not make sense right now, and it probably won't, because of course you looking at the clock probably and you saying, okay, now I'm even more late. There's no way I can get what I asked for now, right? But we have to also understand that when we ask for something, there are other aspects that we may not see that are attached to that something that we asked for. And in order for us to actually get what our higher self wants with what we asked for, sometimes we got to let the entire situation go. And then we may not even realize till a week later that there was something that happened better for us that needed that unfolding to happen the way it did. And now me being on time for that don't even matter because of what that allowed me to reach. Because I just continued to be in that flow and that release. Bring it back to that word release. I just want to make sure it's clear what we mean when we say that, because we like to release and then we snatch it back when the tire go flat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, release control, because when we ask for what we want, a lot of us just only ask. Like, for example, some people say, I want a new house, right? A lot of people aren't specific on how they get that new house. They don't even think to be specific. You know what I'm saying? And so the new house, your old house can burn down. You get the insurance money. That's how you get the new house. You know what I'm saying? But that might not have been your intention.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the universe is always going to give you what you ask for. You know, that's not only is that the universal law of abundance, that's also the universal law of attraction. You know, but there's no universal law of getting what you want exactly the way you want to get it. You know?
Okay.
So you have to be like
None.
nowhere. You know
Nowhere.
what I'm saying? So, you know,
Darn it.
right. And what that does is, though, sometimes it causes us to think we're not getting what we want just because it doesn't look like
Exactly.
what we thought it should look like. You know, and this happens a lot in relationships where people be like, "Oh, I want my husband, I want my wife." You know what I'm saying? Then they attract someone to them, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not attracted to them. They don't have a job. They don't have this." But it's like, but that person probably is coming to you willing to be that husband or wife that you asked for. You just weren't. You got what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? But now this is what it is. You know.
Another way I like to say that is look past the packaging. Like, be willing to accept very, very ugly packaging so that you can actually see what's on the inside before you just, no, I don't need this. You know what I mean? Like imagine somebody like spending all day in the kitchen hooking you up with this gourmet meal and you smell it and everything, but then when they bring it to you, it's on a garbage can lid. I think this was actually a Bill Cosby episode. He was talking about the garbage can lid, right? So we see the garbage can lid, we like, ew, you know what I mean? But did I take the time to look to see what was on it? Before I just rejected it, you know what I'm saying? So the flat tire, that's the garbage can lid, you know what I'm saying? Being late, that's the garbage can lid. Like, somebody showing up and looking differently than I thought they was gonna look, and me just assuming like, okay, this ain't for me, that's the garbage can lid. But I'm missing out on filet mignon, salmon, you know what I'm saying? All these, you know, wonderful delectables that really are gonna feed my soul if I just take the time to allow what's happening to happen.
The process. The process. Wow. Guys, if you have questions, I'm talking to my studio audience. We can definitely pass the mic around if you have any questions that you want answers to. And also for those watching on Facebook or on line.
I see y'all on here.
Watching. Yeah, we just we see you, but I just, you know, it's just too much stuff going on. It's the number to call in is 478. I know, don't talk about me.
I'm gonna type it for you.
478 569-6474. Please call in with your questions so then we can hear your lovely voice on the phone as well. And if anybody in studio have any questions, just, you know, just shout it out. River got a question. Okay, we're gonna get you the mic. Hey y'all, guess who's back? River's back. River's in the house. Woo 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 woo.
Good.
And we also have Miss Tanya T. Flowers in the house, one of our co-authors.
All right.
And we have Yummy in the house with AJ. Yes, another co-author. I mean, telling you guys, we're getting it in. So you got your mic. So what's your question? It's on.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, my question is, so you guys deal with the zodiac signs, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm a Libra, and I'm trying to find out what's going on with the balance in my life.
Okay, so have you ever seen your natal chart before? Have you ever seen your astrological natal chart before? I guess I got Peter's.
I think the extent of I've seen is the newspaper. Like, I look at the back of the newspaper, and they tell me what's going on for the day.
So I gotta address that first.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
basic.
I
I'm a
need to push
newbie.
back.
Like,
I'm
I don't really know. Like, I do
Doing
know
too much,
that.
yeah.
I think that the characteristics of the zodiac, I can identify with some of those, but that's as far as I've gotten.
Got you. Okay. So first thing is, and I just to let everybody know, I used to be like the hugest rejecter of astrology. I thought it was the biggest BS ever. I thought it was. We was talking about this earlier in service today. I thought it was like the lack of accountability people were having, and they're just blaming their behavior on their sign because they don't want to change, right? Until it was broken down to me scientifically, right? Scientifically, y'all, look for that. So, you know, when typically when we're out in the streets or we're out in the world, we say, okay, what's your sign? Somebody asks us what our sign is. We say Libra, right? I'm a Libra too. So October 4th. What's your, bam, my man. So, so typically, if I didn't study astrology, I would probably just be like, oh, I'm a Libra, right? But what does that actually mean to say I'm a Libra? So what people are actually saying, they don't even realize this most of the time. When you were born, whatever sign, like if we look around the earth in space and we divide the sections around us in space into 12 equal sections, depending on what system you use. I don't know if we got time to go into that, but everybody arguing about which astrology is right and wrong and all that kind of stuff. But if we divide it into 12 equal sections and you're just looking at like the sacred geometry aspect of it, that's where we get the 12 sign version from. And the archetypal energies that come from dividing space and time up in that way, wherever the sun was at the specific time that you were born, whatever sign it was in out of those 12, that's what makes the sign that we say, okay, I'm a Libra or I'm a Gemini. So when you were right, so at the exact moment that you came through, or really it's not necessarily when you came out, but when your spirit entered your body, which could have been the day before, like, you know, that sort of thing. But at the exact moment, the sun was in the section of Libra in the sky. So that's why there's a lot of Libra energy imprinted on your system, right? So a lot of us grow up knowing that, okay, I'm this sign, I'm that sign or whatever, but what we aren't taught is all of the planets were somewhere too, right? So while the sun was in Libra, the moon may have been in Gemini, Venus may have been in Pisces, you know what I'm saying? So when I look at all of the planets in their positions and I say, okay, what signs were all of my planets in? And even going beyond that, when you look at the orientation of the sky around the earth, depending on where you are at on the earth, right? All of that plays a part into how the energies are imprinted on you, because we're really all the signs. It's just that your core self is more so pumping out that Libra energy.
I told y'all I was everybody. I knew I was everybody.
So with all that being said, that's just kind of help build the framework. The sun, so this is about learning the signs energies, the planets energies, and then what we call the houses. Let's get a little more advanced without, you know, me having my board to draw some stuff for y'all. But
bring your board next time.
Right.
oh, okay. If I can bring the board in here, we can go in now. But the each planet. I can keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So so if we zoom out and we say, okay, I'm looking at the solar system. First of all, the universe itself is a reflection of us. So you literally are the creator. And when you look outside of yourself, that's a reflection of the creator back to you. So how you can read that will help you understand what's happening and help you understand yourself. So if we don't go look at the whole universe and we just say, okay, let's work with our solar system, you know what I'm saying? The sun is in the middle, that represents your core self energy. And then all the planets moving around that represent the different parts of your psyche. So Mercury deals with your communication, your thought processes. Venus deals with what you're attracted to, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter deals with how you expand, how you grow. The way that you connect to the rewards, you know what I'm saying, that you deserve. Saturn is about your discipline, it's the karmas, the limitations. So once you like start seeing like all the different ways that the different planets are expressed, then you add all that up together, and that's gonna add more to just you being a
I got another question right quick.
Yeah.
All right.
I know
Back
that
in
was
the
a
day,
lot.
man. No, I'm just saying, like, I dated 3 Scorpios in a row, and I didn't realize it, but my brother did. He was like, don't you see the pattern here? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, I didn't. But when I noticed it, it was almost the same. Like, one lady had a silver Saturn, the other one had a purple Saturn, the one had a red Saturn, and I'm like, same temperament, almost same build. And this is like, so do certain zodiac signs attract to us, and how can we use it to our advantage on a daily basis?
Can I answer that? Oh my goodness.
Go
No,
right
I'm
ahead.
I'm curious. I
Yeah.
really want to know. I've been in the back of the book. I've been in the back of the comic section, you know, so I can come in front.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great question. So basically, no, I relate, and so for me, I tend to attract Sagittariuses, right? I'm a Leo. August 20th is my birthday, and
My mother and dad is too. And my mom and dad is on July 25th, both of them.
the Leo. Wow. Okay. Wow. And it's funny because my mother's a Libra, so I'm a Leo raised by a Libra. Right. So I tend to attract Sagittariuses, which is interesting because typically, you know, there's no real yeah.
Just talking to Mike.
Okay. Yeah, there's no real what's the word, balance or not true attraction between a Leo and a Sagittarius on the surface. However, my rising and my north node and my Chiron are in Gemini. So a lot of people will say, oh, you don't act like a typical Leo. That's why I have a lot of Gemini energy. Now, North Node is in our chart, our natal chart. That's where we, that's the North Node tells us what our purpose is in this lifetime. So and then with that, there's a south node, which is the direct opposite. So each sign has its direct opposite. Well, its direct opposite for Gemini is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is where my past lives and the energy that is familiar to me. So once I started understanding about my south node, I'm like, oh, that's why I attract Sagittariuses. And it's really intense. It'll be like this really intense attraction, and then it's not, it'll be friends, it'll be lovers or whatever, but then it doesn't last. It's not sustainable. So it's good in the beginning, and then it just completely like self-destructs because it was familiar to me. That's why I attracted it, but that's not where I need to be. That's why it repels eventually.
She turning me on, y'all.
Yeah. So once I
Turning me on over here.
So once I understood
sucky,
that
sucky,
about my
nah.
chart, I'm like, okay, I need to stay away from Sagittariuses, like on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where it helps to know the rest of your chart because, like, for example, Still to his and I'm actually cracking up because he tends to attract Scorpios. So I'm like, what is it about Libras with the Scorpio energy? But for him, he's got some placements in Scorpio that he tends to attract Scorpio women, but it's not sustainable. It has not been sustainable for him. So yeah, once we really truly understand our charts, then
Leo, right?
I can see where this is going.
It's
So
sustainable
y'all
for
know y'all
you.
better call in because they on this. They on astrology. Everybody
that's
loves
astrology, right? But yeah, that's how it helps you to understand like where people should be placed, in your life, even the people who bring you conflict. Because there's a reason there's lessons in that conflict. So, it's not that, someone's bringing conflict and we need to just push them away. It's like, no, this is a lesson that needs to be learned. We need to understand where we place these people in our life and vice versa.
I know most of the time it start out with I see you, I like you, I'm attracted, let's get in a relationship, and I don't even know you, right? Right?
Right.
How you think we end up to judge Judy so quick?
Right.
Wait, Mike.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I'm just saying that I see you, I like you, I'm attracted to you, you mine. But I haven't taken the time out to understand your genetic makeup or your astrological makeup.
There you go.
And I'm thinking that the information that you're giving us is a good opportunity to collect data while we're dating. Because so many times I've seen most men, for me, I'm gonna speak for myself, physical stature, and I'm like, well, I can breed with her, and I can like what I see, but I'm not necessarily saying it's
visual,
psychological.
right,
Yeah,
right.
real talk.
Men are visual like
Breeder,
that,
testosterone
Fertilize you,
level,
woman. Right.
know.
Oh, we got our parental thing up
alpha
there.
male.
Oh, okay,
My
good,
man
good,
know what I'm
good.
talking about.
But it's I actually wanted to, and I didn't mean to cut you off if you weren't finished, but I just wanted to say one thing that stuck out though when you were describing your situation with the females, with the women. First thing that came to me was your Saturn's probably in Scorpio, but then I was gonna ask, what year were you born? 77. Okay, so nah, that wouldn't be it. But sometimes you want to look for patterns like that, because the fact that you said Saturn like back to back like that, I'm thinking, okay, Scorpio Saturn, there's probably something that was trying to be communicated to you about your wiring, and it may have something to do with Scorpio and Saturn. It doesn't necessarily mean Scorpio is in Saturn, but there may be some like specific significant angles that Saturn is making with something in Scorpio. Your Venus may be in Scorpio. Go ahead.
It's interesting because with Libra pairings, I've noticed that Libra pairings tend to be the best, and Libra Aquarius, if you're just going by sun sign, because it's funny with me being with the Libra. I understand still because I was raised by a Libra, so there's certain things that I was just kind of trained. Okay, the indecisiveness, the airiness.
That's not what we call it.
The weighing the scales, the constant weighing of the scales, right?
So we gotta affirm him with two encouraging things. I want to hear one thing. He's tall. Give me one of the good smile.
The certain things, but a lot of times, indulgent. Libras tend to be indulgent.
She's just getting all this side out first. That's all.
These are the things, sometimes not finishing projects, because I'm describing my mother growing up with my mother, but I noticed like balance like for her, like
They
just
fight
balance,
for it.
like
They struggle
They
for-
struggle
with it.
everything. Like the house has to be looking a certain way. The energy in the house has to be a
Feng
certain
shui
way.
gotta be tight, yo.
Yeah, you know, things. It has to be pretty for my mom specifically.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Libras
like
are the pretty. I
the
mean, they
pretty,
like everything pretty. You know,
right,
They do.
right.
Libra. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because then when they're in that space of and it's funny because I have an acquaintance that she's a Libra and she's got a lot of Libra in her chart, and what she said was it's like imagine where you have this room full of scales and they're all on the table, but then the tables are on these seesaws. So you got the seesaws going, then you got the scales going, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them all to balance all at the same time. That's what it's like being a Libra.
Wild people are in your ear that don't understand what you're going through.
I mean, Drake is a Libra too, and Lil Wayne, both of them.
Oh, Drake is. Oh God, that makes sense.
Eminem.
Why he's so emotional in his songs?
Yeah.
It takes somebody that's very, very driven and generated, but the elements have to be right, and they straight to the top. I can guarantee
Yeah.
straight to the top. But it's just the elements have to be right, and just so when you say, I'm sorry, when you say vice versa, balance. I think in every relationship we look for balance, someone that can balance us out so that we can reach our highest potential, and that's what I would always look for.
Right.
It's about reaching the highest place while you're here in that balance, because I said, you know, it doesn't matter as long as we get there together. And then
Right,
we
and
show
that's
out
the
when we
we,
get there.
right? That's the we
That we,
aspect
there you
of
go.
right.
Yeah, all day.
Are you familiar with Astro.com?
Man, I was in the back of the comic, man. I'm just coming out.
Go to Astro. Everybody go to astro.com. Put in your information in. Now, I would not say, do not take whatever if you think you know your birth time or you put your birth time in. I wouldn't go by whatever rising sign they give you. That's a whole nother conversation. But you can at least see what signs your planets fall in. You just may not know the right orientation of how everything's situated around the earth with that. But look to your North Node, study your North Node, get your North Node placement, and we can exchange contact. Y'all can always contact us online if you need help with how to pull it up and stuff. But North Node, I'm gonna give y'all the key ones to look at that address his question. North Node placement, your Venus placement, of course your sun sign. You wanna always know what that is in your moon, sun sign, moon sign. Look to your North Node, like she said, that's your where your soul wants to go. Basically, it was how I studied it. It's what's going to make your soul happy. So the more you focus on the zodiac sign where your North Node is, you're just going to feel good like immediately. You know what I mean? The trick is, this is where she was bringing up the South Node. We have something called the nodal axis. So that's where your North Node is and your South Node, which is always the exact opposite, right? Exact same degree in the opposite sign. So your South Node, I think she touched on the fact that a lot of that stuff is familiar. So it's like there may be times in your life where you're pulled to something and it feels really good. We following our excitement. We're doing the law of attraction. Okay, follow what feels good. Do what feels good, right? But certain things, it may be pulling us. We trying to figure out, okay, well, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. This feels like my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do. And then, okay, yeah, I'm in it. Okay, yeah, it does feel good. And you're doing it. And then, boom, the universe throws something at you that just mess it up. You know what I'm saying? That's probably South Node stuff that's letting you know, like, okay, you don't have to run from this, but if you're gonna be in this zodiac energy, you gotta be very careful about sifting through what still works for you and what doesn't, because most of that stuff is gonna be old and it's gonna pull you and keep you from going in the opposite direction of the other sign now this lifetime, right? So that's getting into like your whole like experience of everything, including the relationships and other stuff. But Venus is going to determine what you're attracted to, whether you like it or not. So if you know you're attracted to stuff that there's other parts of your chart that's saying, well, there's some stuff over there that ain't healthy for me, then you can be mindful of that if you decide to move towards those things too. And it'll be easier to see like, okay, I may need this attraction for something, but I know it ain't like intimacy and getting involved like how my feelings and my arousal are telling me. But if you just allow the interaction to just be organic, like we was talking about earlier, just allowing, you may find out that 2 weeks from now, this was somebody you were supposed to meet because they knew the person that the universe was trying to bring you to give you this business deal that you asked for a month ago. And through this month of being patient, all the stuff the universe had to line up was now lined up for you, as long as you continue to be in that. And now you're being tested with this woman. You know what I'm saying? To look beyond the arousal and just allow things to continue to happen organic. You said
Platonic relationship.
platonic relationship?
Yeah, my
like,
dad used to always say, they said, man, can you just go out and hang out with the girls, man? You ain't got to go out and be the wolf in the pack, man. Just go out and
yeah.
have a drink and hang out. Can you do it?
Well, my
I mean,
experience,
real talk. I mean, real. We sizing up and like, man, yeah. But
you know what it is? Libras,
yeah,
y'all
that
are
one right there.
romantics
Mm.
But
too.
can we-
Y'all,
Yeah.
I'm mature. You know, I'm mature.
yeah, Libras, y'all are romantics. Like y'all are just so hopelessly romantic. Y'all always fall in love with everything, and everybody.
We got another question.
Well, since can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Well, since we're sitting here talking about signs, I just have to ask.
Sure.
I'm a Gemini.
Okay.
For some reason, I attract Virgos.
Okay.
I mean, everywhere I go, my mom's a Virgo, my husband's a Virgo,
Okay.
my best friend's a Virgo,
Okay.
and boy, they give me a hard time.
It may be that your moon is in Virgo. It may be that Venus is in Virgo. It may.
I think
It's
when I
so
did
much
it,
to look at. Go
it
ahead.
said something about a Taurus.
What about Taurus?
That your moon was in Taurus?
Your moon is in Taurus. Okay. If we that's a whole like chart that you would want to see like where everything sits. Because like when I see like when you actually pull up a natal chart and I actually sit and look at it, like within a few seconds I'm seeing so much information. I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Okay, this is where their aggressiveness comes out. This is the area of their life where they having a whole bunch of challenges. This is where things don't never work out unless they make sure they're doing this. Like all of it's right in my face at one time, but without being able to see all that together, it's like it could be so many different things. There's so many variables to it. You know what I mean? And then that's just what's in the chart. Then it's like, okay, how am I moving with this chart through my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the things that I'm engaging in? You know what I'm saying? Am I protected from certain energies? You know what I'm saying? Because somebody growing up in a certain way will have a different experience with, you know, their birth energy as opposed to somebody else that had the exact same birth energy growing up a different way. Does that make sense? So you still have choice, and I bring that up because a lot of people, they get into astrology, they start feeling imprisoned by it. Like I don't have a choice in nothing no more. Like I'm a prison to my astrological makeup. So in my chart it says I'm gonna be in a car accident on this date in 2019. Oh my goodness! But it's like the sun coming up. You can choose whether or not. I got to shout out Cosmo Chris for this one because this is where I get this analogy from. If you look up cosmophysics, which is COZMOPHYZIX. Yes. I'm gonna give it to you one more time. COZMO, P is in Paul, HYZIX. Shout out to them. I love him. Love Raku, Cosmo Chris, all them. Cosmo Chris, she's real good at helping people understand, like, within the so-called limitations, you still have your freedom. You know what I'm saying? So I can choose whether or not to open up the blinds or not, even though the sun's gonna come up regardless of what I do. You know what I mean? And that's gonna affect my experience inside my house. You see what I mean? So you have choice within that.
And it's just something about, I guess, attracting certain things. I think people go through, well, I know for myself, going through periods where you might attract something more of a person or more of a seemingly sign. Oh, I keep attracting these, whatever. But is that too has a lot to do with like just the season that we're in?
It could be, yeah. It could be, which brings up a whole nother level to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got the natal, whatever you're wired with, as far as like what you came in with at that exact moment you were born. Like if somebody stepped out in space and took a snapshot of the planets at the exact moment you came through, there's that energy that you can use as a guide as far as your own personal inner wiring. But then there's, okay, stuff is still moving. So I look at that as like the cosmic weather. You know what I'm saying? So right now, today, matter of fact, Mercury, you can cheer everybody. Mercury goes direct today. Everybody in the chat room, cheer. Throw me some fives. Put your fives, hands in the air.
So what does that mean?
That's your ruling planet as a Gemini.
Oh, yeah, I know
Gemini.
it's mine. I'm just talking about everybody else. What does it mean for everybody else?
So, okay, so each one of the planets, we say it rules a sign or it rules certain signs, right? That's so right. Mercury is Gemini and Virgo, right? Venus is Libra and Taurus. Oh, somebody brought up Taurus. I forgot who it was. But Taurus, yeah. So Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. Mars rules Aries. It co-rules Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio. So that's just to kind of give an idea of what we mean when we say it rules. It governs that energy. It's like having a store, a department store. You got different departments and you got department managers. So I'm not going to send my electronics department manager over to the clothes department to handle something that's really serious, because they over here with the electronics. You see what I mean? So Mercury deals with our communication, our thought processes, our health. A lot of people miss that one. Our health, our daily routine, our condition. You know what I'm saying? Our state of wellness, right? It deals with a lot more than that, but basically anything that has to do with information, things going from here to there, point A to point B, so movement, but also the things that I'm doing on a regular basis every single day. So that's how it ties into the health and a lot of other stuff. Anytime when we say retrograde, when the planet goes retrograde, anytime we say a planet's going retrograde, it means that from our perspective, and this doesn't apply to if we put in the solar, like if we look at the version of the solar system with the sun in the middle, none of the planets ever go backwards, right? So people always say retrograde means the planet's going backwards. But from our perspective, on this natal chart with Earth in the middle, it looks to us like it goes backwards, because as it's going around the sun, and I know everybody can't see this, but as Mercury is going around the sun, it goes in between us and the sun.
I can't see you right there.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do my best to see everybody can see this. So let's say the mic is the sun. Mercury's going around the sun. So imagine you're seeing all this movement, and every time Mercury hits right here, it looks like it's going backwards, but that's just on a two-dimensional platform. Like if everything moving this way represents going forward, but this is 3D. So as it's moving towards the screen and then coming back this way, it looks to the people watching the screen that it's going backwards, but it's really just going in a circle still. So when it hits that point, that energy, part of the way the energy is affecting us is in a sense representative of us going backwards. So what are the things that we need to look at in terms of review? What are we being forced to relook at? Everything that has to do with Mercury, like communication, how we talk. So this is why messages are missed so much during Mercury retrograde, because the energy is literally louder. Mercury is literally coming towards us, throwing this energy more directly at us that is pumping out constantly in regards to the communication, all the other Mercury stuff. So literally everything is louder. Everything is louder. Energy is just so much louder than Mercury retrograde. People are all over the roads. Car accidents are happening. Arguments don't seem like they ever end. But that's because one of the ways that the retrograde energy plays out is shifting things so that the energy of that planet now is expressed more from our inner world, or in our inner world, as opposed to our external world. So if I'm really trying to get a piece of information off to Chrysalis, and it's real heightened energy during Mercury retrograde, and I'm struggling, I'm frustrated, and I'm trying to force it, that's actually me not hearing that my spirit is saying those very things to myself in that moment. And so if I'm not aware that that's what's going on in the heavens and that's what the weather's saying, I'm just going to be stuck in that for who knows how long. You know what I mean? So Mercury went retrograde about 3 weeks ago, and it goes back forward, I think like 9 something tonight, if I'm not mistaken, Eastern time. But so now we're at this point where it's been doing this, and we've all been, feeling all this energy like close to us. Now it's about to slow down and then go back this way. So not only is it going forward now, which means we can relax and like move forward with our stuff, it's gonna get real warm. Like we already saw some of that. But when Mercury goes direct this next week, if not this week coming up, it's gonna start getting real hot. Everybody been begging for this warm weather, trying to figure out what happened. That's because when spring hit, Mercury went retrograde 2 days right after that. So it was like, yay, spring. And Mercury was like, sit down, chill out. We ain't done yet. You know what I'm saying? So it got real cold, right? And then so now Mercury's going to go forward. We're going to experience it moving away from us and quote unquote forward. So we'll be able to relax. The energy's going to feel a lot lighter. Things are going to warm up. Spring will finally get to express itself more fully. And I'm cheering everybody on because I've seen a lot of people really going through it, waiting for this. So happy Mercury direct.
Happy Mercury. Guys, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And anybody that wants to still call in, you can. After we come back from break, they'll be available to answer any questions. So please call in to 855-669-6474. You are listening to the I Am Enough Talk Show, and I'm here with the Reverend Sean and his beautiful wife, Chrysalis, and we are really just discussing a whole bunch of stuff. They were just talking about astrology and how to let it work for you. So we're going to come back and get into that discussion more. Stay tuned.
Playhouse. She comes home shocked. Hey, how did you get into my playhouse? I thought I took away your key and changed the locks. Now look at you, rummaging all through my thoughts. Are you serious? Redecorating my space? Removing my success picture and it's my time clock from the wall? Where did you put my journal? I know I left it over there. And what about the novel I'm working on? It was right beside the fridge next to that I Am Enough poem. How did you get into my playhouse? The last I saw you, you were at the House of Doubt. Had them all convinced that watching TV made a whole lot of sense. Even had a schedule and a timer set. And a bet with your 3 cousins, procrastinator, fear, and disbeliever, that we all would conceive. I ran out of there quick. So how did you get into my playhouse? How did you make it past Isaiah 54:17? No weapon is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servant of the Lord, and their righteousness, and of me, saith the Lord. And Lord, I do accept. Amen. And what happened? Was my guard down? Did I sleep too sound? Or did you float into my window when I was listening to my Kindle and hearing my inspirational sounds? I thought my vision board and my daily declarations and my positive self-talk had you blocked. Again, I asked, how did you make it into my playhouse? I counted on my like-minded friends, accountability coaches, and my righteous spiritual leaders to keep you out. And lastly, I depended on mentors and role models and, of course, my dream-making buddies to fill my plate. But somehow, you still managed to bounce into my playhouse. You took a seat as if you were invited. Oh, no, I think not. I think it's time for you to go. And make sure you take all your friends, poverty, sickness, bitterness, and confusion. And don't forget lazy conformity and the oldest self-doubter. And did I mention procrastinator, people pleaser, and non-believer? Get them up out of here right now. It's time for them to go. And this time, I'm using security. Matthew 19:26. Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. So don't even think about returning to my playhouse. Turning to my playhouse.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
I know. Hey y'all, for my Southerners and what's up though? For my Northerners. We're back here inside the Instinct Radio studio. I am your host, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, and I have my wonderful power couple here. We just been chopping it up all day. I got a live studio audience that's just totally, you know, everybody wants to know what they want to know. And we got a lot of activity going on Facebook. They're sharing, they liking the video. So I had brought in some of my crystals because, you know, I have crystals. And I just kind of like, these is what I roll with. I had these in my pocketbook every day with me when I leave out the house. Sometimes, and then sometimes I add more. So I want Chrysalis because this is one of your specialties.
Y'all break out them notebooks.
Yeah. So just tell them what I have here on the table and what it does and what the properties for and.
Yes, because I field identify, and field identification basically is the ability to just be able to look at minerals crystals or something in its natural environment and identify what it is. So I'm pretty much able to identify all of these. So for one, I'm noticing that Ms. Wanda loves the green stones. Green is typically heart chakra related. Some green stones are good for fertility, and a lot of them bring money in abundance. So this one right here is bloodstone.
You guys show it to him on the camera.
Yes, this one's bloodstone, and I could tell because it's the deep green with the red flakes. And actually, honestly, what bloodstone is, it's jasper with hematite inclusions. Really, that's really what it is. But it's good for grounding, and on a physical level, it's good for cleansing the blood. So literally, what the name is what it's good for.
Wow.
And my whole thing, I get excited about crystals the way he gets excited about astrology.
Right. And I get excited about listening to her talk about it.
Oh yeah,
The way she listens to me talk about astrology.
He gets excited. So, and it's funny because she made this cute grid right here.
I'ma behave.
This one is, at first I thought it was fluorite, but it's not translucent enough. So basically what this is it's emerald with ruby. Because a lot of times emerald will naturally form with ruby inclusions in it. Wow. And so emerald, and actually this feels good. This must be your favorite. Because I can feel the energy from it. But again, it's good for the heart chakra, and like blood circulation. It lowers blood pressure, and money. Emerald's really good for manifesting money.
Yeah, it's not lowers money, man. It raises money.
Right.
Lowers your blood pressure, raises your
There you
blood
go.
right. Which makes sense though when you think. See, because my whole thing is the science, right? Same thing as Stilts was saying. So, what it is our heart is our electromagnetic field. So the more our hearts are open, the more that we're able to attract the things that we want to us. So yeah, this is gonna bring money because it's lowering your blood pressure, it's calming your stress levels, and then it's opening up your heart. Citrine, and I actually love citrine. And a lot of people don't realize this, but citrine is really heated amethyst, really. Okay. So citrine is in the quartz family. It's good for the solar plexus. I'm noticing another theme. This one also brings money in abundance. So
I say, they be picking me out. These stones pick me out when I go there and be like,
So I'm noticing that. What I really like about citrine is supports the solar plexus. It's an air element crystal, so it would make sense, you being a Gemini, being an air element zodiac, that you would attract citrine or be attracted to citrine. It's just a happy stone. Like, it raises your vibration, makes you happy. And like I said, so with amethyst, when you heat amethyst up to a certain temperature, it activates the ions. The ions then change the color from purple to yellow. Now, this doesn't happen often in nature. Nature rarely supports the factors needed to turn amethyst into citrine, but when it does, it's extremely rare, so it's expensive. So most citrine that we find in stores has been heated, but that doesn't make its properties any less, you know. Okay. But solar plexus support, citrine is actually really good for cancers, because cancers are really sensitive to energy, and a lot of times their solar plexus are left kind of open and vulnerable. Same thing with Virgos. So I usually will recommend citrine to cancers and Virgos, or anyone who's like a very sensitive empath. It also supports your intestinal system, digestive tract, and all of that.
Wow.
Now these three are the same. So you've got this one. You got this one, these are really beautiful. And then you got this one as well. All three of these are agates. Agates are in the Chalcedony family. And so agates basically are banded crystals. The way they form, like I said, you can see the bands in them if you kind of look.
That energy, you hear that mic?
I know,
Right.
yeah. Agates are really common. They form in so many different colors. Virgos tend to be attracted to agate. It's an earth element crystal. It grounds you, it calms you. And then there's other stones that are considered chalcedony or agates. So tiger's eye is one. Carnelian's another one. And so pretty much anytime you see a banded crystal, it's gonna be not all the time, but most of the time, it's gonna be in that Chalcedony family. This one, did I even look at this one? Oh, aventurine. So this one's aventurine. The green, another one that attracts money. It's also good for it's good. It's good for fertility. It actually, we had a couple people who come.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe I should tell that one.
That's why you gotta. That's why you want to know your crystals, people.
That's why you want to know your
You
crystals.
wanna go in the
You wanna
wrong
know your
direction.
crystals, right? It will, because in this one in rose.
Don't want to wear that in your bra.
No, yeah, no. And but what it does do as well, it gets rid of fibroids and cysts, though. You know, so
Maybe you do.
We got if you got that
That's why I
going
love
on, yeah, it will eliminate. And we've got confirmations of that. Sisters that have gotten aventurine waist beads. Now the thing about aventurine, it's basically quartz. It's in the quartz family. However, it's got copper inclusions in it. And so anyone who really looks at aventurine, you can see like these little flakes that are shiny. That's the copper. A lot of people don't know that when copper oxidizes or when it changes its form, it will make whatever mineral that it's in, it makes it green. So malachite is oxidized copper, turquoise is oxidized copper, chrysocolla, you know, so you'll notice that theme. So with that being said, aventurine also gets rid of toxins out of the body, and it will, you know, raise your vibration, open up the heart chakra, all of that. Also interesting enough, this is a chrysocolla as well. I mean, not as well, but I had noticed, and actually, I want to say, okay, yeah, so this one's a chrysocolla. I was making sure that one wasn't as well.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. So, chrysocolla, it actually, a lot of people will mistake chrysocolla for turquoise. However, this is more of like a greenish color. Whereas turquoise is more of like a blue-green. Mm-hmm. And then chrysocolla has these blotchy veins, whereas turquoise has like actual vein, like lined veins in it. That's how you can tell the difference.
Okay.
Chrysocolla, and Stilts really likes it. It actually is a pain reliever.
Pain relief, y'all. I'm so
Yeah.
serious.
So if you have any type of pain on the body, because again, chrysocolla has copper in its composition. So it relieves pain. It's an earth element crystal. So what it'll do specifically is it connects you with Mother Earth. So I usually will recommend chrysocolla for gardeners or people who are any type of working with the earth. And then this last one is jasper.
Jasper.
Yeah, this last one's jasper. And really, jasper is kind of like the go-to. Like, it's one of those where if your crystal doesn't fall in any other category, it's a jasper. Because jasper forms in so many different, you know, ways. Like, it's as versatile as agate. And this is actually a really pretty version of jasper. Jasper is, now because it comes in a lot of different colors, there's additional properties that are attributed to the different colors, but at the very basic level, most jaspers are going to be fire element, and they're going to be able to purify and ground and protect your energy. Those are the basic benefits, and then there's additional benefits based on the colors. And then this middle piece, which is beautiful, I was saving for last, is amethyst. And it's funny because amethyst, on the surface, you could be like, oh, you know, there's no way that it could form this deep purple indigo, but that's exactly, you know, it's in its purest form, because you can see the geode. It's in a geode. So what geode means is that it was in a rock that on the outside looked like this, and then when they broke it open, it had this on the inside. Amethyst is another, it's funny, it's air element, well, air and water element. And it's interesting because Tauruses and Libras tend to be attracted to amethyst. But it's a pain reliever. It opens up your third eye. It helps with arthritis. It helps get rid of headaches, insomnia. It protects you. Protects your energy. It helps you if you're having nightmares. It helps you remember your dreams. And it really just clears out like this whole third eye crown area. So yeah, those.
That sounds like something good to sleep under your pillow.
Absolutely.
Most
Absolutely.
Doesn't it help with lucid dreaming?
It does help with lucid dreaming. Yeah.
You know, this was we got one for Addison last week when I was there, and she's walking around the house now,
Yeah.
holding her crystal. What's my crystal? And she's so funny because you know she has her pouch. And I'll say, and she has a falling out with some of the other family members, you know, so she comes to me and she's mad. And I said, well, where's your crystal? Go get your crystal and talk to your crystal. She was like, my crystal? Okay. And she'll go get, like, her she has a bag like this, and so she'll go get it, and she'll just hold on to it, and she's like, I'm going to lay down now. I said, okay. I'm going to lay down now. Now she done fell out with everybody. You know, it's like, I'm going to Granny, and I'm just going to lay down. And it's funny because one day my son called me, and he was FaceTiming me, and Addison got on the line, Uncle, see my crystal? See my crystal? And he's talking about, your Granny, she didn't got you. She didn't got you. Like, your Granny, she didn't got you. Talking about, Mom, she gonna be just like you. I was like, well, that's not a bad thing. She had her, and she has it, and Aiden has his too. And it's funny because I just wanted her to, because she's always trying to mess around with mine. So I wanted to just get her own, and now it's like she knows that that's hers. And one day I said, well, Addison, where's your crystal? And she was like, crystal, where my crystal? And then she found it, and when she found it, she's like, I found my crystal. I was like, okay, so she's keeping up with it and everything, so it's the funniest thing. We have a question. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I got a quick question about crystals or jewelry. I heard, it wasn't directed to me, but if you touch somebody's jewelry or their crystal, something about energy is on it. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this out so I can look at you.
We're in the studio and our guest is.
Okay. Well, I'm just so particular about looking at people when I'm talking. Okay. So that's a good idea. All right. So with the crystals, because crystals absorb energy. Anything. I mean, they're beings. And they're programmable. That's why they're able to do the healing that they do. And so they absorb energy. And so, yes, if somebody touches your jewelry, like a necklace or whatever, or, the crystal, the crystal can absorb it. And then at that point, if you feel like that's the case and the crystal's affected or the jewelry's affected by it, you can cleanse it. Now, there's some crystals that will transmute the energy, and then there's, and then into something else, and then you don't have to do anything with it. There's some crystals that won't hold the energy. So, for example, there's a couple crystals that you don't ever have to cleanse because they don't hold energy. Kyanite's one of them, citrine's another. So it really just kind of depends. I know for me, because I sell crystals when I vend at events, I allow people to touch the crystals because that's how you connect. But by the time I bring them back to my store, I'm saging the crystals and maintaining the energy. Okay. Yes.
Excellent question.
Excellent question. Yeah, because that's so many people say that, and I was getting ready to say the same thing. You can always cleanse it. Once somebody touches it, don't have a fit or baby meltdown about it, because
right.
Like people do have
sometimes they have major meltdowns, like, you touched, because I wear this like all the time, but and some people just don't bother it, and then when others do, it's like it's not a big deal because that's what it's there for, to protect me.
Right.
So
Right.
Because you want the crystal to absorb their energy,
right?
And not you,
not me. So it's like I'm good. Like touch it, because this is the barrier between us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And too, some jewelry may be more for just your protection than for even being seen. Right. So you want to keep that in mind too, like different ways to use the jewelry that you have. So for instance, shout out to Baba Atu. For this one, like, he'll be walking around and he'll have stuff under his shirt, over his shirt, all kind of stuff. But he was one of the first elders that I heard speak about how just somebody looking at your crystals can shift, the energy in it.
So that's why you keep them
Some stuff I have, yeah. Some stuff I wear under my shirt, nobody even see it. And then like, of course, this is on the outside today, but like during Sunday service, you know, I got stuff on underneath. I may have stuff over top, but it's very intentional.
Right.
What I'm wearing, why I'm wearing it.
There go that
yeah.
word again, y'all.
Because some people, you know, they're drawn to the crystal, and a lot of times they don't know why. You know, so they're in it and they're reaching for it without even before they
Right.
even know
Before
it.
they
They want
even
they're
know it.
touching.
Now, what do you have on?
Oh yeah, so it's actually funny. So the ring that I have is kyanite. So this is the ring the middle ring that I have is kyanite, and I'm not really attracted to blue stones a lot. And this goes actually back to the natal chart thing, because what I tell people is that every crystal ain't for everybody. You know, so based off of our natal chart or our astrology, there may be some crystals that benefit us individually more than someone else. Some crystals may throw us off. So for me, when I first got on this journey, now mind you, I've been studying crystals since I was 13. You know, like but it was more of like collecting rocks and like, you know, how your grandchildren are into that. And then as I got in, so that's how I learned the science of the crystals. I learned that first. And then when I got into healing work, I started connecting the metaphysics. And what I realized is that, so yeah, back to that story. When I first was getting into crystals, it was garnet. I love garnet everything. I still got some of them rings, you know, and carnelian. Now, garnet and carnelian are fire element crystals. I am a fire sign. I have a lot of other fire in my chart. So when I was
That was a lot of fire. You need to probably take some of these green ones.
Right. So when I was younger, you know, but then I was a lot more in that fire, you know, Leo energy, you know, like, so as I got older and I started kind of shifting, I had to put the garnet down. And I started to have to incorporate I had to put the garnet down. Please, yeah, it was too much. And then I started getting into other crystals, and then so the kyanite is one of them. That's what I have on. It keeps my aura straight, you know, keeps me nice and grounded and calm, and focused. I actually just got this. Shout out to Yesa with Sun Goddess Jewelry. This is a jasper. This is a red jasper bracelet that I absolutely love. And it's interesting because jasper is fire element. However, and I haven't been wearing jasper. I haven't been dealing with fire element crystals. However, jasper is protective. It also grounds you, you know, so I can do this as a fire element crystal. And then I made this. This is actually red aventurine. And so it's another really grounding crystal. And then this is just like some pendant that I attached to it. So like I said, it's really important to understand your natal chart, because whereas I can, you know, I don't tend to do well with water element crystals. So I don't really do well with moonstone. I really don't do well with rose quartz. The reason why is because I don't have any water zodiacs in my natal chart. So any type of watery, emotional kind of energy I'm not comfortable. It throws me off. You know, so if I'm going to do a crystal to open up my heart chakra, it's going to be a malachite, because malachite opens up the heart, but it's an earth element. If I'm going to open up my intuition, I can actually do selenite. Selenite is water element. That's actually about the only main water element crystal I can wear on a regular basis, but mainly because it's focused on the crown chakra, not the heart. Also, too, because I am a Leo and we rule the heart space. I have to be careful with any heart chakra crystals that I wear, because I tend to have an overactive heart as a Leo. For example, some Tauruses, I don't recommend them wearing blue stones, because some of them are overactive throat chakras.
Yeah. Or underactive, yeah.
Right, and so I say all that to say that you know, it's really important to know yourself, because there's no one way for like prescription for everybody. You know, so whereas I may use one crystal to open up my throat, you may need a whole different crystal for yours.
Now, how do you identify with what crystals you need?
Well, honestly, I tell people the first thing is what are you attracted to? So, for example, you are attracted to the greenstones. So you already, your heart space, like that's where you reside in is, like you said, you're staying in your love zone.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you
Yep.
got your crystals.
It's a dangerous
right?
place if I'm not.
Right. So you're already naturally attracting that to that energy. And so that's what it is. So when people come and they're like, prescribe a crystal to me, I'm like, well, no, I direct them
To the crystal.
to the crystals and I say, well, what jumps out at you? And I can
Right.
tell you what it does.
There you go.
Right.
You
okay.
know?
That was my question because a lot of people say, well, how do you know? And like I said before, when I had selected crystals to take, to my grandbaby, but I said, well, the next time, I'm gonna bring her so then she can just pick out her own crystal. So then she'll go and say whichever one her little person take her to do. And I think that's great that you let people know that just show up and let that crystal kind of guide them.
Yeah.
Kind of like picking out a dog or a cat.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Because my cat picked me out when I went to the Humane Society. She picked me out. She had her arm out and she reached out. I was like, okay, well, you coming on with
Right.
me. Everybody else was just laid back, chilling, like, who's
Right,
this lady?
right.
She was like, this my mama. I'm getting out. I'm
Right.
breaking free. So there she was. We got a question?
Yes. What do you do if you have a child that's actually, she's a Leo, and she's struggling, and as a parent, what stone would you, begin with? And see, listening to you, what's funny is I went and got her a rose quartz. That could actually be what she's fighting against because so being a parent, being a Gemini and dealing with a Leo, we struggle. We go back and forth. So as a parent, what stone would you recommend I get for her?
Okay, so then my question is, where exactly is she struggling? Like, how is she struggling?
One day she's nice, and the next day it's like, ooh,
Emotionally.
who are you?
Okay.
I mean, and her emotions are, all over the place, and it's just like she doesn't love herself.
Okay, the self. Okay, yeah. Okay, and how old is she?
18.
Okay, so she's already been through puberty and all that. Okay, so yes, so what that would be solar plexus related crystals, because I know from my personal experience, Leos, we tend to be very hard on ourselves, and so that's what causes us to spiral emotionally is like, taking on like guilt, or we blame ourselves for a lot of things that we shouldn't, that we shouldn't. And then a lot of things too is like if we're feeling unappreciated, that'll definitely send us spiraling.
Yes.
Like we do not do well with not being appreciated.
No.
But a lot of times too, it's like unwarranted. Like, so what it is that we tend to be very giving, but we overgive and we give things that people didn't ask for. And then we're like, well, how come we're not being appreciated? And then we go into this depression and the spiral around it, So for your daughter, then I would suggest that for her solar plexus. So citrine, pyrite, anything with fire. Garnet may help her as well. Jasper would help. And I can give you a list I can write down after. Yeah. Because what that's going to do is it's going to put her in her power seat. To where she is, one, having boundaries so that she's not overgiving or not overextending herself. And then two, it's going to allow her to be really cultivate her self-esteem and her self-worth. So that right. But yeah, get that rose quartz from up under that bed, because that's the balance is like, all that watery emotional in the heart space. If there's any pain in that heart space, the rose quartz is going to bring it out. And if she's sleeping with that, then it's entering her, it's affecting her subconscious, right? Because it's in her dream state because she's sleeping while that's taking place. But you didn't know, like that's the thing, like people don't know,
right?
So
that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. And
You have a question?
Yeah.
Speaking of the chakras, I just been wanting to know really like where you begin at, far as at the beginning level, going from level 1 to 7. Like, how do you begin to even start?
Got you.
Opening yourself up for it.
And so, do you feel like you have a basic understanding of like the different chakras and what they mean?
Basic.
Real basic.
Just the basic.
So I'm gonna give you a real good book to check out. This is my favorite chakra book actually. All the ones I have is called Chakras for Beginners by David Pond, Pond. I don't care what level you on. That book is the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's a real easy read. It's not a whole lot of thick stuff that you gotta get through to figure out what's going on. You can just kind of get right to some real good answers, and it'll help you like with exercises, understanding the principles and all that stuff. But yeah, come to Sunday service, come to Spirit Science Institute. That's what we do. That's why we're doing it, because when the archives come out, getting back to the whole grand opening of the school and everything, I'm doing a separate video archive every single month that's going to just keep accruing. And the very first thing I'm focused on is psychic protection, ancestor altars and stuff like that. But I will be getting into astrology, the terms, the definitions, the language of it, how to read it, and then right after that we're getting into the energetic anatomy, and the chakra system is probably the first piece of the energetic anatomy that I'm gonna cover. But for people that have joined the school and are actually full students, they get all access to everything. I'm also doing a live Q&A that is student only access, where every single month, even regardless of the archives and what you're getting in that, if you got your own personal questions, you want to dig into other stuff, that's the time that we can do that for whatever y'all need for the group that's present for the live Q&A. I'm gonna just be broadcasting from the school, and wherever everybody is, they'll be on together, and you can add, and we can go over these exact things that we're talking about right now.
Right.
Yeah, but definitely check out that book though. And you got a meditation practice?
I've been struggling with that. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I do struggle with the point of actually just being still and quiet, and that's opening my mind up.
Okay.
And allowing you to actually breathe and think.
Got you. Focus on the comfort of your meditation space. That's number one. I always tell people, never feel like you gotta like do it a certain way or you're doing it wrong. Okay, wait, I'm supposed to be in lotus position. I can't bend my leg right. You know what I mean? Forget about all of that for right now. As far as like starting off, you want to focus on, like I always tell people, get more pillows than you need. Get more cushions than you need. And I'm real serious when I say that, because the longer you sit, the more your body's going to continue to sink into itself. So like if I'm sitting up and I'm meditating for 20, 30 minutes, eventually I'm gonna start to feel this, lowering of stuff. So I want to make sure that I'm in a posture so that the more relaxed I become, I'm still upright. But also, getting into like, okay, do I have enough pillows under my ankle? You know what I'm saying? What position am I sitting in? Do I have enough pillows between my heels and my bottom? You know what I mean? Because all that's going to continue to shift. And I want to start off so strong that I can sit through the meditation without having to worry about my leg hurting. And now I'm trying to focus. And okay, do I move? Do I move my leg? Like, God, no, just focus. You got it. Oh, no, the pain's too great. Okay, the longer I wait, the pain. And then it's just that you off somewhere else you don't want to be in your mind. When if you just take that time to really prepare the beginning of it through your comfort of your space, investing in the proper cushions and getting everything, even getting into like the surroundings, you know what I'm saying? Burn that incense, get the, you know what I'm saying, the ambiance right for the calm mind. Then tap into, you know what I'm saying, taking advantage of the space itself and the comfortability of it. And man, you can do so many things with your mind when you ain't gotta constantly pull back to pain and stress in your body. You know what I mean? You can really go off and do some things.
What do you think about, do you think about doing it? My question is, because some people say you need to be quiet, but like me and my wife, we rather do meditation sounds or music.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. And you can get a lot of people say that because they may be focused on specific things that you get from having meditation when it's just silence, but you also get things from having that music. You know what I'm saying? That's healing medicine in itself. Just having the music there, especially when you get into these like solfeggio harmonics and 432 hertz and these different frequencies that all over YouTube and stuff like that. So it's just what approach you want to take for that particular setting. Like depending on what day it is, I may be focused on doing a particular thing with my meditation, like finding out an answer to a pressing question I have, and it's concerning Chrysalis' safety. You know what I mean? That's a very different meditation than me just trying to calm my mind so I can focus on healing some energy or something.
And I know for me, when I started meditating, I started with a Sangha, which is I started in a Sangha, which is Sanskrit, for community. So I went and found a meditation group, and it was a Buddhist or meditation group that met every Sunday at the library. And sat, and it was like an hour and a half. So it was like 30 to 45 minute talk, sit, and then a talk after. And because for me personally, accountability is what keeps me meditating. And I'm a lot more accountable when I'm in a group of people and we're all meditating, because then it's gonna look crazy if I just get up and go, or go and do something else, or I'm looking around like, what I'm saying?
I'm finished.
like, where's she going?
Right. So there are groups around town that meet and meditate, that you can attend. So that's another option too.
Guys, I am so glad for the questions, and I'm so glad for the exciting energy going on. Everybody, want to learn. Some people start talking at the end, so that's great because we coming through. We breaking through over here. We breaking through. It took 2 hours to get there, but we didn't broke through. So it is about 3 minutes till we have to, get kicked out of the studio. I see this is a hot topic, because everybody want to know. They want to be educated. They want to learn how to understand some certain things. So I'm just going to encourage everybody to reach out to these two. Please sign up. Come to, if you're in the city, you don't have any excuses. Get to their school inside, get to Sunday services. It really can really open your life up to some more just some great experiences. Not only that, getting around some great people. I know I'm always blessed when I go and be a part of the Sunday service. It really, really does a lot for me. Just being more aware. So I just want to encourage everybody to, what's the website? Tell them how to find you on Facebook and everything.
Okay,
Instagram.
so my main website now, I'm saying this officially now that it's out there, and I'm so happy about this, patreon.com/Spirit Science Institute. That is the online school. It's all the information about the online event coming up is on there. Definitely go ahead and check it out. It's very detailed, so you know exactly what you're getting. I'm doing that forecast for the rest of 2018 on April 24th at 4:44 p.m. But all that information is on patreon.com/Spirit Science Institute. On Instagram is Spirit Science Institute. We got another page on Instagram for the Sunday service information. It's Sunday Service ATL. And then another page for the Metaphysical Store on Instagram is Physics ATL, which is FIZZIX. ATL, that's the name of the store, Physics. We have metaphysical tools, all kinds of, the crystals are in there, candles, incense, all kind of stuff. Sage, resin, just holler at us. We might surprise you. We got singing bowls, the whole nine. Is that everything? Facebook on Shaman Hands. It's SHAMAN, Hands, HANDS. And my phone number is 404-709-7952.
And then for me, it's Be The Vibe, the letter B, thevibe.com is my website. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook as Chrysalis Sun. And then YouTube is Therapeutic Vibrations. So, and definitely check out the website because I'm finishing up and about to launch my book on crystals. So,
awesome. I'm so happy that you all, said yes and came in.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And shared and drop all these golden nuggets. And I know it's never enough time because that's just how time is. It's never enough time. So, guys, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, for sharing, for liking the video, for leaving such wonderful comments on the page. And I want to thank my studio audience for coming in and showing up and showing out and bringing all your wonderful energy. I want to thank Instinct Radio and Net. Net, you back there? Mm-hmm.
There she go.
Want to thank Nat for always doing her absolute best to make everything happen here. Woo, woo, woo. We will be back next, in 2 weeks. That's on the first Sunday of May. And guess what? May. This was a pre-birthday celebration, guys. I don't know if you noticed the balloons and stuff, but, May is the Gemini month,
All
and
right.
I celebrate from the 1st to the 31st.
There we go.
And
You
it's
already
just,
got
and,
the
and
balloons.
I already
Right.
got them to prove
We
it.
ain't even through
You
our
know,
April.
I can't help it. I'm just gonna rush May on in here, but that's just the way
Yes.
it is. But no, I celebrate life every day. So guys, I just want to continue to Nat. Oh yes, okay, I'll be back on May 6th. Nat, straighten me out. That's the 6th, because she know I don't be knowing what days of the week it is. So yes, the 6th. That's the first Sunday in the month. I do know that. I know I'm on the 1st and the 3rd, 7 o'clock. I might not know the date,
Yeah.
but I do know it's the 1st and the 3rd.
That's what's up.
And guys, if you're interested in being on the show, just send me an email. That's to the I Am Enough Talk Show at gmail.com. Also, you can check out everything that I do at 360 at what is it? I am enough365.com. You can check that out. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook under Wanda D. Hollis. And I'm just so excited to be here to just share this time with you. Your dreams matter, and the only reason why we get to those dreams is because we're willing to go there. We're setting intention to go towards our dream. So I just want to keep encouraging you to don't get off your yellow brick road. Stay on it until you reach your destination. It's only snapshot away. It's really not that far. You just have to make some decisions. We've been talking that word intentional, right, River? Intentional, right. Just have to keep setting intentions to go in that direction that you're trying to travel to, and you will get there. I guarantee you, and I can help you along the way. So reach out to me if you need my help. If you need anyone here, these are all beautiful people, and we're willing to walk that journey with you. So until we meet again, be blessed, keep being amazing, and know that you are enough to always follow your dream. Bye for now. Peace.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Download the app on Google Play, Instinct Radio, or go to instinctradio.net. And now, back to the hottest sounds around. Instinct Radio.